so crazy. This shouldn't do what it's doing. It's honestly, it's like, in fact, it's faster than a Vantage.
I think it's probably also close to Formula 2 level. And this is standard. If you would, fine tune and tweak the setup a bit more, you'd get a couple more seconds out of it. But it's pretty
phenomenal.
Pretty impressive, I'd say. Gives you a glimpse of the dynamics of racing Formula 1. Forget any other sports car or road car.
Nothing like it, right? No, I mean, to have something with that performance with 2 seats is kind of crazy, no?
It's good. I mean, carbon brakes obviously all around. If you talk to Formula 1 drivers, we're spoiled. That's the problem. F1 is obviously the ultimate level of anything. You'll see for yourself. See how your head sees. Everyone so far in the car has just been bouncing around and couldn't control their bodies.
Okay, awesome. It was Kimi's 2012 car at Paul Ricard,
But did you get it going?
Yeah,
properly?
But I didn't have the talent to really make it work properly.
That's the thing with these cars. If you don't have temperature in the tires and the brakes.
The defining feature for me was the brakes. It's unbelievable. Into my 5th lap, and my neck was starting to, get a little bit softer. And I thought, I don't know how you do it for like 40, 50 laps, man. Like, it was unbelievable. After that drive, I look back on when I was talking back to pits. Sounded like I was like wrestling with a bear. I was like almost shouting down. And then I look at you guys talking back to the pits and you're so calm when you're speaking. And at the same time, you're like 10 tenths fighting for the same piece of tarmac. I was probably driving this car at like 10%, and it was wild, man. It was totally wild.
As a racing driver, that's what you educated to do. We do this usually from a children's age, and
of course, that's
what we're trained to do, and that's our line of work. So
the brake pressure kind of blew my mind. You're sort of averaging what, like 80 to 100 kgs or something like this.
Yeah,
It's work. On your left leg only as well, huh?
I always also, during races, my glutes were like quite sore. Because also the throttle, obviously, you work a lot with that, and it's not like a road car throttle spring. It has a stiff spring.
So,
Yes. It is actually tough to press the pedal.
Okay, so while we're here, believe it or not, I have never driven an Aston Martin 707. So, while we are at Silverstone Circuit, I've kindly asked the team at Aston Martin if I could possibly, pretty please, take this out. And after some arm twisting, they said, go on then. So, we're going to hop in here on my first drive in a 707 is going to be at Silverstone. Welcome to our AMR Pro experience. So those of you who are familiar with Valkyrie, let's say this is the most extreme iteration of Valkyrie. We have Valkyrie Coupe, we have Valkyrie Spider that's coming later next year, and with us today we have the AMR Pro. AMR Pro is, as you see, a 2-seater track-only race car, and with this car we have 1,000 horsepower, 11,100 RPM, and we have just under 1,000 kg. So it's built for speed and built to enjoy. A little bit about the program. The car was based on the Valkyrie road car, and then we developed this car, so it's built from the road car with a more extreme tub. It's a slightly longer car, slightly lighter car, and it gives you a very extreme performance. The car's all about aero. At 330 kilometers an hour, the car produces 2,000 kg of downforce. Basically twice its own weight in downforce. So it gives you an idea of the extreme forces that are at work.
A very, very unique project in so much that here we are having to design something that we don't really experience or understand the requirements. So a lot of early research, working with drivers, working with Darren Turner a lot, to actually understand what they need in a car like this, because we're used to doing road cars, very quick road cars, but this is just another level. The other bit, as Simon mentioned, is the aero. We really work hand in hand with the aero team, where normally you have a design phase, then an aero phase, and you feed back into it. With this, you just have to work hand in hand, and it's really understanding what everyone wants and needs, and then shaping and blending around that all the time.
It's very much, in essence, a bit like the V12 LMP1 car that we raced 10 years ago. It's still got the same sort of beating engine of a high revving V12 over 6 litre engine. So something that's been part of Aston Martin for many years now. So in terms of that heritage of a great V12, this is right up there as a driving experience with the best of the best in terms of cars I've had the experience of being or lucky enough to have driven, like LMP1 cars and Formula 1 cars. It's really enjoyable. It needs a lot of focus when you're driving at 1,000 horsepower. A once in a lifetime experience to be in a car with this amount of capability with a driver like Nico at the wheel.
Yeah, I got the first taste of the AMR Pro this morning, and it's a serious piece of kit.
I think you were quick straight out the box. It was amazing.
1-to-1 ratio, 2,000 kilos of downforce. Very fast, but very accessible, user-friendly. Therefore, very enjoyable to drive. But yeah, it just gives you a taste and a glimpse of F1 dynamics, of F1 forces, cornering speeds, and that's what's so brilliant about this. Because in our sport it's difficult to transport this to people, but here having a passenger seat and being able to have that kind of performance is pretty unique.
All right, so this is the warm-up to getting in this car. We've just been having a chat with some of the guys, but to actually see it here in Silverstone pits, there's something special about that. Like, not only is it like home of F1, but it's home of Aston Martin. They have their F1 facility directly across the way there.
All right, this is it. Henry's going in first. I can't wait to speak to him after this. Henry, how was that, mate?
Quite discombobulating, I think, is the kind of best word I can think of, kind of straight out of the car. It's that first lap is just like, that's you just can't.
Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, insane.
Oh, right, man. You all keep it up.
Let's do it. You're professional. Looking forward to it, man.
Took an extra one to warm up there.
There you go.
Gets a bit dull after a while, Same thing.
James, take one.
Didn't feel too fast.
That was so good, man. It was so good. Fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing machine. I'm blown away, man. That thing is, it's just unbelievable. We don't often have to use the swear bleeper on this channel, but on this thing, I'm going to have to use it a few times.
Honestly, it's so good. Yeah, that's as close as you're gonna get to an F1 experience, for sure. With an F1 driver as well helps. Phenomenal. Just mind-bending, you know. I mean, even as a passenger, you know, towards the end of 4 laps, you're beginning to feel the fatigue of that sustained level of braking and G's. What it must be like to do a race in something with that level of performance. Yeah. I just don't know. It's just incredible. Honestly,
Getting a cup of tea.
I'm blown away by that. Absolutely phenomenal. Track days are done for me now. That's it. Completely ruined every track day experience I'll ever have from now on. The next time I'm on Silverstone for a track day, I'm either going to vastly outbrake myself or just be entirely underwhelmed. Ridiculous. Alright, so it's as simple as plugging in that cord, is it? And then
yeah.
downloading our...
So this is all the runs broken down into, you know, each time you see 0 wheel speed, then it will create a new file.
Right. This could get addictive, couldn't it? I mean, if you're using this as a track car, plug me in every time.
Peaking lap draw at 3G.
Okay.
But you'd say like a constant is constant to 2.5
Really?
G constant peaking at 3G.
Peaking at 3G.
The braking's not as much. Yeah, braking's peak at 3G, but I'd say.
Okay.
Are you getting the brakes?
Braking's peak 3. It felt a bit harder than that. I don't know, braking for me always blows my mind. I've been really fortunate to be involved in pretty much every press launch and first drive of Aston's over the last few years, including 707. But when I flew out, or almost flew out, to make this car's drive, which I think was in Sicily, flight got cancelled. So I never actually made it. And the Aston team have been trying to get us in the car. And while we're here on the Valkyrie drive, I thought, you know what? Keep on the race suit, hit the track. Guys, well, I've got to turn you off for a minute. There we go. Okay, so, months in the making. Wow, this thing is absolutely ballistic. What is this? You know, I've read the reviews about this thing. Yeah, that shouldn't do that. That shouldn't do that. Wow, on the brakes as well. Massive. I think these are over 400mm carbon ceramic brakes up front. It's going to need that because while it's fast, it's also a big bit of kit, so it needs the stopping power. God, it goes. We're 140 miles an hour into the braking zone there, which for an SUV is borderline obnoxious. Yes. This is a physics-bending piece of equipment. What is going on? Wow. God, this handles. So we've got the best part of 700 horsepower here. 707 actually indicates PS. So 707 PS, which is just shy of 700 horsepower. I think it's 697 if you want to be precise. The anti-roll architecture of this thing is such that it does a phenomenal job of bending physics. The body roll is so minimal for something that A, sits so high, but B is, well, by and large, quite big. This shouldn't go around a track like this. It's brilliant. I tell you, if it goes around a track like this, imagine how it picks apart a B road. And they've also upgraded the gearbox as well. So it's much faster on the upshifts, as you can hear. Also, that turbocharged V8 derived from AMG pulls like a mule. And I tell you what, oh, it rotates well. It rotates really well. But listen to that, we're going swift through here. Minimal understeer. Have you heard it? Let's see if I can get, wow. Yes, the best thing I can say about this is confidence on the braking. It's just epic. Sounds good too. Sounds angry V8. Now the funniest thing about what's happening here is my latest reference point of any sort of performance has been in that Valkyrie AMR Pro. I couldn't think of more opposite vehicles to get into on the same day, but I'm having such a good time in this. Wow. Tell you what, I gotta hand it to them. They've done the business. I'll also say I've been quite fortunate to be very familiar with how a standard DBX drives. I gotta tell you, it does not drive like this. It feels like a different car. Wow. Yeah, this is by far and away the best performing SUV I've driven. Braking, confidence, speed. And of course, if I wanted to, I could just go off on that grass there as well. You know, it being developed for off-road and all. Not that I'm condoning that under this situation by any means. Wow. Yeah, it works its way down through the gears pretty well also. I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed. For a first drive, and I never thought my first drive would be on track, but for my first drive on track in an SUV, that has genuinely surprised me. I'd read the reviews and people had said to me, honestly, this is like a sports car on stilts. Genuinely is. Wow. This is also crazy. This shouldn't do what it's doing. It's honestly, it's like a Vantage on stilts. It's like, in fact, it's faster than a Vantage. I mean, I know that everyone's going no chance, but I reckon it is. I reckon it's faster than a Vantage. Yeah, as far as impromptu drives go, I mean, look, we've just stepped out of a Valkyrie. I think it's quite funny being in a DBX in a race suit, but as far as juxtaposing vehicles go from the same brand, this has been a hell of an experience. Down a B road, I think this would lose some sports cars. Seriously, it's nuts.